What's up, guys? If you're not subscribed, please subscribe. Also, please smash that like button on the video and enjoy the show. What's the main differences between Sunnis and Shiites?
Immediate descendants of the Prophet, which of his followers is the kind of the legitimate successor to the organization. Fairly early on, there was a split between people who felt that this one successor to Muhammad was the legitimate one, and then others who had a completely different view of it and went with another one. It was something as basic as that, is who's the boss after Muhammad died, and then it turned into centuries of fighting and inter-tribal, inter-sect conflict, which continues to this day. And they're very different belief systems.
But the way they worship, is it similar? What's the main differences between Sunnis and Shiites?
So it's
for the layman.
Yeah, so it all has to do with which of these immediate descendants of the Prophet, which of his followers is the kind of the legitimate successor to the organization, essentially. And I don't want to get in trouble with Islamic scholars who know this history much more than I did.
I'll defend you, don't worry.
But fairly early on, there was a split between people who felt that this one successor to Muhammad was the legitimate one, and then others who had a completely different view of it and went with another one. It was something as basic as that, is who's the boss after Muhammad died, and then it turned into centuries of fighting and inter-tribal, inter-sect conflict, which continues to this day. And they're very different belief systems now. I mean, some things they have in common, but there's who the leaders are and what rites they follow. It could be quite different.
But the way they worship, is it similar?
Certain things are similar, like the praying to Mecca and the fasting, and things like that. But it's like the Iranians have this view of that they call them the 12ers, the 12.
Guys, if you'd like to join our Patreon by hitting the link in the description below, not only does it support our show and allow us to get great guests like this and put out more content, but you're going to get exclusive access to the Julian and Alessi show, which is the show we post only on Patreon. That's with my producer, Alessi Alaman, and I, as well as some behind-the-scenes content and some extra content with guests. So hit that link in the description below, and I hope to see you over there.
Leaders of Islam, and there's been 11 of them through history, and there's one more that's coming, and he's supposed to be a messianic figure. I must not pretend to be an expert on this, but that's in practice they have very different ceremonies and rites and customs than the Sunnis do.
Are there communities in the Middle East where Sunnis and Shiites both live among each other and get along and are friends? And
yeah, it used to be. Iraq was kind of that way, and you'll see pockets elsewhere where the two exist side by side. There's some of that in Syria. I've got a good colleague I work with who's, I think her father was Sunni, her mother was Shiite, and so she's called a sushi. So it's they do they like Christians of Catholics and Protestants when they're together sometimes.
That's how I try to think about it, but it's different because they're very serious about it.
Yeah, but in some cases Protestants and Catholics have been very serious too, and have slaughtered each other and been awful to each other. So it's just maybe our
U.S.-centric view in some ways.
And our history is a little longer in the sense that Christianity is an older religion, and we've had more time to do terrible things to one another. But yeah, there's just been really just awful fighting between the two big branches of our faith too.
Right. Okay. So back to Yemen. Houthis Shiite, and then the other guy's not. Thank you for watching the video, guys. If you haven't already subscribed, please smash that subscribe button and check out this clip's full podcast episode by clicking here or in the description below.